Hey everybody, how's it going today? Hope you can see this in the mirror here. We will see. We've got a new camera set up today, so I'm not sure how this is going to sound. Same camera, but different helmet and different mic placement. So we will see how this looks going down the road. We may want to tilt the camera up just a tad. We'll see how it looks. All right, we've got a ride review today. If you hear that noise, that is a dry clutch in this 2008 Ducati S2R1000, which you can see right about there on the badging. And she's real loud with the clutch. And the QD exhaust is pretty awesome. We will take a ride with this. We got some pros and cons to talk about. I've had it for a little bit. It is a great looking machine, isn't it? All right, let's get started. Oh, there was some pull to that right there. Woo! Guys, we're out on the bike here. We're going to be taking it easy out here and doing a little ride review of this Ducati. So I think we'll start with the 5 pros and then we'll do probably 5 cons, and maybe I'll think of more as we're going. Hopefully I don't forget anything, but let me know down in the comments if you guys own a Ducati or you've had one of these older dry clutch models. And I mean, this one isn't real old, it's a 2008, but this was towards the end of the dry clutch run from what I understand. I also have a friend of mine that told me recently, Dallas, that you can get conversion kits for newer Ducatis to convert to the dry clutch. Woohoo! It'll get up and go, but it's not fast like the new wet clutch and water-cooled Monsters are. This is an air-cooled 2008, but I do enjoy it, and it's a good running bike. It's got about, let's see here, so you can see it on the camera. It's showing up 13,800 miles, 801 to be exact, so almost 14,000 miles on this guy. First pro on this, I would say, is the handling. I do enjoy the handling on this bike. It's very flickable, very light. It's a very light motorcycle. I think it's like in the 520s, 523 dry, I think, or no, it's under 400, I'm sorry, I'm thinking of my speed triple. This is under 400 pounds dry. Pretty incredible. I think it's about, lock my face shield down there to maybe get the audio a little better for you guys. I think we're about, yeah, under 400 pounds dry weight. So this thing is massively flickable, and I definitely don't ride it to its potential. That is for sure. That car that just drove through there, that's why it's important not to come over blind rises like that, getting your crank on, because people can be going across at an intersection like that, and if you're going 80, you'd be in all kinds of trouble. Alright, yeah, so the handling, I mean, this thing is just amazingly flickable. This has pilot powers on here, I believe, the tires, and yeah, they're great. They're pretty much new. And I really enjoy the handling. So the handling is definitely a strong suit of these. This is a 1000, but it's still a very light bike, and excellent stuff, man. In fact, I haven't ridden this bike in a while. I've been riding my speed triple, and I hate to say it, I think this flicks easier than my speed triple does. That is very interesting. I was not expecting this. So there's the first pro. The next pro is the suspension on this. I do enjoy the suspension. I haven't adjusted. It's fully adjustable. You can't see it here, but it's fully adjustable in this model. And I haven't needed to. It's just about perfect for me. It's soft enough to soak up these bumps that I'm hitting right now on these back roads, but it's not so soft that it wallows in the corners. I mean, it's not like cruiser soft or something like that. You can still, like I hit that bump there, you can still hear it in my voice. It's a big enough bump, but it's very let's just say like it's plush enough, right? It's comfortable, and I think it's almost perfect for this style of bike. Could it be better? Sure, but at this price, we'll talk about this later, but the price of these bikes are not real expensive anymore. And you can get out and enjoy them for a reasonable cost. So I think the suspension is really great on this bike. And if you don't like it, you can adjust it. I think we're going to take a right here. But we're going to end up having, I'm just being careful here because that is a very loose gravel, that turner there. Oh man. Be careful of that blind rise there. So that just brought something to mind there, but we'll talk about it in the cons section. It's quick though, it's a quick bike. Okay, the third pro is the seat on this bike. The seat is surprisingly comfortable. I do believe this is the stock seat as far as I can tell. I mean, I'm not the original owner of this bike. I believe I'm like the third owner. Third or fourth, I don't remember now. But the seat does look stock, and you can see it on the intro. Let me know in the comments if someone who knows more about Ducatis than me, if this is a aftermarket seat. I would actually like to know that, but I think it's stock. And some things are not stock. You can tell the mirrors are like, these are CRG mirrors over here, and the bar, if you can see the logo there, this is a Rizoma bar on this. So there is non-stock parts. So it is possible that the seat is not stock. Oh man, I do like how you can bring it out without going 5 million miles an hour. Got a little squirrely there in that corner. Tires should be warm by now. But my throttle hand's a little jerky on this bike. We'll talk about that in a minute. So another pro here is the character of this Ducati. It is different than other Japanese bikes and metric bikes, in my opinion. The rumble, the feel of the L-twin, as they call it, V-twin or L-twin, and it is different. You almost have to like wrestle it a little bit. It's not like just the interaction with the motorcycle, the throttle and such. It's just not as smooth as like like my Speed Triple. It's just not as smooth as that, and or the BMW S1000 that's been on the channel already too, that I had. This is more. It's just a different feel. You do have to wrestle the bike a little bit. It's not terrible, like it's not super physically demanding or anything. It's different. I think everybody should ride a couple of Ducatis, whether you got Monster or Panigale or something. Go try them out on demo day. Maybe ride a friend or something if they'll let you. I think everybody should give it a shot. Personally, I do think that it's worth your time because they are very different. See, so that was pinned there. And it'll get up and move, but it doesn't have that lightning fast speed, that super bikes have, modern super bikes. But I do like it. So let's go on to pro number 5 here. Sorry guys, I got distracted riding the bike here. It's having quite a bit of fun on here. So pro number 5 is the dry clutch on this specific model, on the S2R1000. I do enjoy the dry clutch quite a bit, and it's different. It's not extremely different. Like, it's not like a totally different world than a wet clutch. It's just a different feel, and the sound is, I mean, I enjoy the sound. The sound is pretty incredible. I don't know, I mean, some people might think it sounds like a pipe banging around inside there or something, but I think it's cool. It's something different. I think you should experience it. At least go listen to one at some point just to see what the hype is about. You can hear it on YouTube, you know, you can hear it on this video, of course, but it's not the same as in person. Just go check one out. I think it's cool. You know, give one a test ride if you can. Just use one at a dealership somewhere near you. Go give it a shot, and I think you'll enjoy it. I enjoy it, and I count it as a pro. I guess some people might think it's a con if you, I guess there's less of a lifespan on some of these dry clutches than there is on, or there can be, depending on how they're ridden, and if you do a lot of wheelies, because they're not lubricated. Maybe opening the case a little bit will help, some people think, but I'm not sure if that's the case, because I haven't done that with mine. But I do enjoy the dry clutch, and I think it's a pro and a con, but it'll show up again in the cons. So I like it. It's something different. It's a different experience. I enjoy it. And all in all, I really do think this is a great value motorcycle for where they're at nowadays in the market. But let's get to the cons. So the first con I'll touch on here is, I guess these are going to be subjective, most of them. Maybe one of them isn't. So the first one is the throttle. The throttle is a bit jerky on this bike. See, I'm not sure if it's just the custom bars and the way that, you know, this is whatever's going on over here with these aftermarket bars. Or, let's take a left here. Or if it's something else going on. If the bike needs to be tuned or something. Because I do have the QD exhaust on. There is QD exhaust on this guy. But like the on-off throttle, the chain isn't like extremely loose or something either. You know, the chain's fine. So it's mainly, like, see, I'll throttle off here. It's not terrible in third. You can kind of see what I'm talking about there. But if you go down to like second, let's see, make sure this is first. Here's second. There's a lot of engine braking on this because of the size of the motor in the V-twin, I believe. So yeah, you go down here and see, it's a little jumpy. It's not terrible. It's worse like in first gear starting off. So that's kind of leads me to this comment here that I really don't think this is a beginner's bike, just because of the way that it comes off idle. I think it would be a little jarring for a new rider, and they're gonna kill it. You know, I mean, I've killed this bike too when I first got it. It doesn't walk itself off idle when you let the clutch out. It just doesn't. It's just not very well. Some fun corners here. Some fun corners out here in the country. Man, this thing is a lot of fun, man. More fun than I remember. I haven't ridden it for a couple weeks because I got a 2019 Speed Triple. This thing is more fun than I remember. So there's the first con, is a throttle. It's not terrible, but it is definitely not perfect. All right, con number 2. Oh, got a tiny little animal running across the road there. I don't know what that was. The world's smallest squirrel. Maybe it's a chipmunk. So I would say the bars are a little far forward for me here. These are aftermarket Rizomas, so I'm not sure what the stock ones are like. Stocks might be, I don't know if they're, you know, I honestly don't know if they're lower or higher. I've ridden the newer Ducati Monsters, the new like the 821 water-cooled, and I believe they're very similar in height to this, if memory serves. I mean, I could be wrong, but if memory serves correctly, I do believe they were very similar to this. So I would like to raise these like an inch or something. That's just my personal preference. Some people like low bars, depending what kind of riding you're doing. But you can't raise these, so this is part of this con. At least not that I could tell. Me and my mechanic here locally took a look at it, took a look at the cabling and such here. You can't really see it here, but man, we got some sun in the face here. Pretty blinding. I do have transition lenses in my eyeglasses, but it's a little bit blinding. So yeah, you can't, the cabling is just too short. You'd have to recable the whole bike, basically, to at least the braking, for sure. The brake cable just doesn't have any extra length to it. Which way should we go up here? I don't think I want to hit the I don't want to hit these hardcore twisties while trying to do a video. Might be a little distracting. There was an unfortunate event that happened back there at that intersection. Dallas knows what I'm talking about. Don't stop there with that road camber. Or if you do, put your left foot down if you're coming up that hill. For anybody who rides in this area. That is some bright sunlight in the face right there, man. Gotta be careful. Gotta be careful. There's some plenty of twisties around this area too. We're getting distracted from our video, aren't we? This video is gonna be mega long. We are getting distracted out here in the twisties. Pretty bumpy back there though. Pretty uneven ground, pavement. Man, what were we even talking about? We're talking about a con, right? See, we went over the throttle con. And these are some fun roads. I'm gonna have to do a separate video of just riding through twisties here later on, when we're not trying to do a ride review and getting all distracted. Oh, there was some pull to that right there. Never lost track of what gear we were in, but that was definitely the right gear. I think that was third. Says there's a stop ahead. Means I better slow down. Yeah, I came up fast, didn't it? Good thing we did slow down. I don't see anybody coming. We're going to take a right. I'm going to check this mic here. I got this new mic placement. Make sure that we're still hooked up properly here. I believe we are. Because I heard some goofy sounds for a second. All right, we got to get back to the video, man. Like back to the topic is what I mean. So yeah, talk about the bar height. And yeah, I would like to raise it, but the cabling is just too short. I don't know if I'll show it. I don't know if I have I have a walk around video of this bike already. I might talk about it in there. I don't remember, but yeah. So the short cables and the bars. If you want to lengthen these bars out, you're gonna have to recable the bike. So just let it. Just be aware of that. You can do it if you want. It's not like not gonna be ridiculously expensive or something to do. So you can if you want to, but just be aware of that. And let's see. The third con is kind of, we already talked about this a bit, but I'll call it a con as well, is the character of the bike. Maybe sometimes you don't want to wrestle something. You just want to have like an easy, smooth, go out for a smooth ride, right? And you don't want to just have to wrestle something that's kind of quirky and unique. There's no gear indicator on these old bikes either. Kind of roll that into here. And there's no fuel gauge. You have to, speaking of which, I probably should check and see what we're like for fuel. Oh, we're fine. We got 22 miles in this tank. You have to keep track of it with the trip meter, old school style. It does have a fuel light on it, which is helpful. But yeah, it's just it's an older bike, so you've got the instrumentation is older. You don't have any TFT screen or anything like that, of course, because it's an 08. But for me, is that a con? I guess I don't mind this old bike. But the main thing is sometimes you just want to go out and you want to have cruise control, or you don't want to wrestle the bike because of the character of this bike. It's not like super smooth or anything with the throttle and all that. So that could be a con for some people. If you just want a smooth riding motorcycle. This has a lot of character. It's true what they say about like Ducatis are basically like a European Harley. They have character. They're different. They're not for everybody, but the people that do like them, I mean, they got a name for it. They call them Ducatistas, right? So there's a name for people who like these bikes because they get so enthused about them, they love them, and that's like all they buy. People get obsessed with them, right? So it's a love it or hate it kind of thing, I believe. And I guess there's guys like me too that where I like them, but it's not like the be all end all. Would I buy another one? Yeah, I'd have another one, but it's not like I'm only gonna own Ducatis the rest of my life. You can appreciate them while still, you know, appreciating other bikes too at the same time. Let's say, hey, there's nobody behind us here. Let's take a pull over here, and we'll. Looks like we got a nice sunset going on, so let's get her in neutral. And we're kind of out in the middle of nowhere here. Let's take a look at this bike here towards the end of the day. Just making sure we are still recording. We are. All right. That is a nice looking bike, man. It's a nice looking time of day too. By a nice looking time of day, I mean it is a good time of day to get shots of your bike. I do have to say, this is probably my favorite looking motorcycle of what I've had so far this year, in my personal opinion, but you know, that's incredibly subjective, so it doesn't. Some guys absolutely love how like big cruisers look and baggers, and that's just not my thing. But for some guys, they love that look. For me, I think these are some of the best motorcycles ever made, as far as looks wise. The best motorcycles ever designed, I guess, is the word I'm looking for. I just love how they look. I don't know if it's the trellis frame. I was pretty sad to see the trellis frame go on the new Monsters, but that's just my opinion. I love this classic look. I do wish like this had a red frame on it. I think that'd be cool. But this all blacked out one is fine with the right white stripe on it. It has its own kind of classy look to it. You know, black motorcycles are the best-selling motorcycles of all time, right? So there's a reason people like them, I guess. And yeah, I really like the looks of this bike. But all right, I think we got another con here. What was another con I had? I had all this written down in notes, but I don't have a phone mount in this bike, so I'm doing this video from memory. So, yeah, we talked about how the character and such of the bike is kind of a con for some people. I think I'm going to head back down this way. Maybe we're going to go through those twisties at the end of this video here. I think that the dry clutch, we'll end with this. We'll kind of do, I end up doing this in these videos where some things I think are pros and cons depending on the person. So I think we'll do that too here. Is the dry clutch, for some people, they just don't like it. They don't like how it sounds. It's not really as smooth as a wet clutch. The lever pull over here is harder. It's not terrible. It's a little harder than my speed triple, than the wet clutches. I guess maybe that could be adjusted. Maybe it can't. I'm really not sure. But and the dry clutches too, I do believe they, at least from what I've heard, they don't last as long as wet clutches because there's no lubrication in there. If you're hard on them, they burn out quicker. But they are easier to change because you can, you know, open it up, pull the parts out, and put new parts in. From what I've heard, I haven't done one myself. I do work on my own bikes and stuff, but I haven't done a clutch yet. That's one thing I have not done, so I can't speak to that from personal experience. Just being honest. And here we got those two cool corners here again. Hope people don't get tired of me riding by their house and making a bunch of noise. But yeah, the dry clutch could be a con for some people. For me personally, it's not, but I have it listed here just in case, because this is a ride review. Could be, you know, hopefully some of you guys out there will find this useful or helpful to you if you're looking at one of these old Ducati bikes. And I think I'm gonna end this with, like we usually do, with who is this bike for? Well, I wouldn't say this bike is for someone who wants to ride an extremely long distance. If you're like going to be a distance rider or something like that. Could you commute on this? Yeah, if your commute is like a half an hour or something, you know, 40 minutes is probably fine. If you like this lean on this, you know. Who's it for? It's for riding like this. It's for riding back roads. You know, you could commute in town with this; it'd be fine. You know, in a city. Except it is air cooled, so if you're going to be sitting in a lot of traffic, it might not be the greatest for that. You know, so you don't want to sit and overheat or run the bike real hot all the time, excessively hot, I mean. But you can commute on it. It's good for riding back roads, having fun. You know, it's a very fun motorcycle. Somebody who's looking for value and wants Ducati, but you don't want to pay whatever, 10 grand, 15 grand, 20 grand, right? You can get these for under 5 grand now. And if you're paying 5, it better be like a really clean example. Like this is a really clean example. And I paid under 5 for this, but it's very clean. It's just, it was well taken care of, tastefully modded, and doesn't seem to have been beaten on really, as far as I can tell. Runs great, starts great. The clutch, you know, the clutch works great. The dry clutch is in good shape as far as I can tell. It's not, I mean, it could be done. I see, oh, look at all the deer up there. Holy deer. All kinds of deer up in that field. Be careful around this corner. See them up there? Running on the other side of the trees. Be careful around this area right here. It's that time of night though. I'm out riding at the sketchy time during the golden hour when the sunset's happening, right? So I just try not to crank it too much and be aware. Be ready on the brakes if you need to, especially around blind corners like this, you know. A little squirrel right there. So yeah, this is going to be a long review. I bet you this is probably 20 minutes already. I haven't looked at the GoPro here, but I bet you we're at 20 minutes. But that's okay. This bike deserves it. This is a good bike, and the longer the review, a longer review is fine for this bike. I think that if you have an extra 4 grand, 5 grand laying around and you're looking for a motorcycle, I don't think you can go wrong with one of these dry clutch Ducatis from this era. One of the like the late 2000s, like 2008, you know, 2010, like pre-2010 stuff. If you can find something low mileage, I think you should give it a shot. Even just ride it for a season, right? Maybe buy one, find one for a good deal in the fall. You know, like $1,000 off or something cheaper than usual. Just ride it for a season. It's just an experience to have, you know. I think you'll enjoy it. Man, I'm loving how nimble this thing is. I am surprised. So I think we should end this here because this video is getting really long. But all in all, I think these bikes are a great value. That's kind of what I had to say about this. If you're willing to spend a bit more, I would say you could go street triple or speed triple for this style. I mean, SV650 is always an option too, of course. But if you want Ducati, this is a good way to go. Good way to get your feet wet into it. You could get a smaller version of these too, like the S2R1000 if you don't want to go with the 1000. If you're a newer rider, that's always an option too. But I think we will end this here, so we'll give it a little crank here at the end. Head sun is bright. I didn't want to come over this hill ripping it when I can't really see what I'm doing. Alright, well, if you guys like this video or liked watching it, you like this kind of content, make sure you like and subscribe. And I appreciate you guys. I hope everyone's doing well. Thanks for watching again. If you watched to the end here, you are a pro. Thanks for watching the whole video. And yeah, we're going to keep going with these. My next ride review, I think, is going to be on the new 2019 Speed Triple, so stay tuned for that. And we're going to hit some twisties here at the end of this video on this bike. Maybe we'll cut them out and make a little short video of riding twisties here.